Hello there, wherever you are in the world. Obviously not on Twitch because we are pre-recording this because my internet is poop. But it's not poop. It's not so poop that I can't record. So we're recording tonight's session. So hopefully you enjoy this.
You sure about that, Sean?
What?
It's very choppy right now.
Well, I can't. I don't know how I sound to the recording. That's my recording is probably
okay.
different from how you hear me.
It's fine. You fixed it.
I just talk and it fixes things apparently, except my internet. So anyway, our music is licensed through musicbed.com, and we use Syrinscape occasionally for Ambience. But Shannon,
Yeah, that's me.
who are our partners?
I'll tell you, Sean, and I will start with Arcane Spectacles. Where's my notes? There it is. Fuel your adventures with Arcane Spectacles adventure mugs, available in 11-ounce and 15-ounce sizes. Their sturdy ceramic mugs, complete with high-quality printing, are perfect for TTRPG and D&D enthusiasts. Start your day with a jolt of excitement and choose your size for the ultimate gaming experience. Get yours now at arcanespectacles.com. Next, we have Underground Oracle Publishing. They are a best-selling, Emmy-nominated TTRPG publisher building new and exciting settings for the cipher system of every genre you can imagine. Each setting includes everything you need to explore its unique world, including lore, species, descriptors, foci, creatures, ciphers, artifacts, and all of the rules that you need to play. For as little as $3, you can join their Patreon and help shape each of the worlds that they create. Yeah, I know. It's so cool. Next, we have Edward Yorke. Eddie is our character artist. He is an illustrator based in the UK who makes art for games and books. To visit his portfolio and get in contact with him, visit eyorke.com. Last but not least, 1985 Games. They create affordable, accessible, high-quality accessories for D&D and other TTRPGs. Sean uses their NPC cards. They're amazing, and they have 5 amazing qualities on the back of them, including secrets, flaws, personality, goals, and appearance. Why do I always want to say appearance?
Appearance is the drawing. They don't need an appearance thing on the back. There's one more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said secrets, flaw, goals.
Mm-hmm. Did you lose another
flaws,
one?
Goals. Yep. Hold on. Secret, flaw, goals. I did lose another one. Wow.
Personality.
Personality.
Mm-hmm.
Personality.
The last one begins with an S.
I said secret.
It's an issue.
Do you know why you've been fucking this up so much, Shannon?
Why?
You change it every week.
Is there only 4?
No, there are 5, but they're different depending on the card.
You're kidding.
The 5th one's always different. They all have personality, flaw, goal, and secret. They all have those. Only some of them have quirk, and some of them have skill.
Oh.
Yeah. There's 6 then, actually. And you know what it looks like? It looks like, some of them have quirks. This is the first time that I've been holding 2 while you've been saying this to check them. But yeah.
I don't think I've ever gotten quirk, though.
Quirk and skill are interchangeable.
Wow. All right. Well, you'd think I would have written these.
So now there's 6, Shannon.
I like the challenge.
Now you have to remember 6.
Great. I can do that. I'm going to do it right now.
Go.
Personality, flaw, skill, quirk, secret, goals.
Okay, I thought you were going to miss the last one.
I did too.
You got there.
Yeah. We'll see if it does it next week too.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you would like to purchase any of their amazing cards or other wares, use the code paradiceprod, PARADICE, for 10% off your entire order. If you have not yet subscribed to us on the YouTubes, please do. We appreciate all of the subscriptions and the comments that are on there. Thank you so much for watching on there. We appreciate it. Join us on Discord if you have not already, because Sean writes recaps for us, and they're pretty great. They're one-pagers. We are up to date. I saw that. Good job. Proud of you. VODs are up to date too. Not that it matters, because this it might change by the time this gets up there. It might not be.
You know, it unless you skip next week, like uploading it, like
Yeah.
as long as you upload this, it will be up to date by the inherentness of this needing to be uploaded.
Just broke my brain a little bit, but it makes sense.
Also, if you get us to 500 subscribers on YouTube, we can apply to be monetized.
That would be amazing.
We're about halfway there.
Yes, that would be. Yes, we're at 230 last I checked, so nearly there. So join us there. That we'd really appreciate it, as well as on Bluesky, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
X, formerly Twitter.
I refuse.
And Discord.
I said Discord.
And the Cord.
Also, Discord was implied when I said recaps on Discord.
See, we're all tussled up because we're not seeing Stefan with the chat commands.
That's right. That's what it is.
Have you been putting the chat commands in?
Yeah.
Oh wait, are you putting them into our Discord chat?
No, you're not. Oh, I just noticed that.
I didn't have it up.
When no one made any comments, I was like, well, I'm not going to be funny if there's no audience.
Well, you know what's funny is I thought
great.
you were putting them. For a second there, I thought you were going to be putting them into the Twitch chat because they'll work. They'll still work. It'll just be to no one, except for all the bots. Sorry, Ziberian. We're not alive tonight.
No.
Anyway. Okay. Good job, Shannon.
Right.
Oh, let me actually bring
you.
everyone in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Steph, stop playing with your toys.
Hey, you can keep playing with them.
I'm not playing. I'm assembling.
That's true. He is assembling. They're not toys. They're miniatures.
He's amassing his armies.
Mike and Alex aren't with us tonight.
What?
Alex is traveling and Mike is on vacation, so we will see them next week. But it's perfect timing because the party was about to split up anyway. So I think we should jump right into our recap.
Let's do it.
Shall we?
We shall.
All right. Thank you for the permission. If my voice gets choppy, don't worry, because this is being recorded locally, so it's not going to be choppy for the recording. Only for
Nice.
You've actually improved quite a bunch.
Yeah, I'm betting you halfway through this recording, it's going to be like my internet's perfectly fine.
Yep. I bet you it is.
Because you guys look a lot better, too.
Yeah, you are back to what you normally are on the weekends, but I'm not going to say that because...
Let's just go.
Nope,
let's just
go. Let's just fucking go.
Just because I'm a masochist, I'm going to do one speed test.
Don't do it!
No, do it while you're reading the recap.
I know. Oh, you...
Is it right?
It's perfect.
It's perfect, isn't it?
I have near maximum upload speeds. Doesn't matter. We've started recording. This is being
That's
recorded.
what we're doing. That's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine.
All right, folks. Let's get into it. We just turn the music up a little bit. It's a good song. Good song, Stefan. Last we left off, Iron and Mana took the heir Genasi assassin prisoner and decided to deliver her to the Commodore's custody. Of course, before they did that, they had to clip a few nails off the giant's toes for future potions. When they arrived at the Commodores, they left Fyrn and Saskia in the carriage with the assassin. Fyrn undid her gag to ask her some questions. She immediately said some words in Primordial defiantly and teleported away. Sass was able to hear the verbal spell components since she speaks Primordial and began chasing her. Jaquet used his magic sword to help track the Genasi down as well. Together...
Amulet, not sword.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sass has the sword. You have the amulet.
I have an amulet too.
Yeah, okay.
I have an amulet and a sword.
Jaquet used his magic amulet to help track the Genasi down as well. Together they were able to apprehend her. She didn't make it too far, and the party delivered her to Doyle for justice. Now, on the road, the party was able to put some of the dangers of Hyven behind them. They spent their first night resting at Fairhold, the eastern market of Asia. They enjoyed some food, music, and leisure. But it didn't last long, as Fyrn's snowy dream returned this evening. Fortuitously, the party had the wits to tie him to a tree before he slept. In the dream, he ascended the same snowy steps on the mountain as the previous dreams. This time, he tried to resist, but the dream took control of him. He found a way station on the mountain for travelers to rest. Here he saw a cloaked man with blue eyes waiting for him, with bone-thin knuckles on a staff. He had the desire within him to sit and rest with this figure, but alas, the party was able to smack Fyrn awake. The dream faded, and Fyrn contemplated the meaning. He prayed that night with earnest intention, and specifically to the wolf spirit, a figure known to pass judgment on the northerners who have lost their honor, a figure that devours the souls of those without honor. The next day, the party got an early start and drove through the day. They arrived at Septimus's farm at sunset, but the farm was not empty. Strangers seemed to be picking apart the various goods left over. The party confronted them. They revealed themselves as representatives of the Solanellian Rail Company, investigating the abandoned land as they saw it. Septimus grew angry and threatened them for trespassing on his land and refused their generous offer of purchase. Before they left, the leader made sure to threaten Septimus with land seizure, as the governor had gifted this land to his parents, and the governor can take it back. This wounded Septimus, and as he looked over his turned-over home, he began to understand that he must fight for his place in this world. Oh, and Sass was making some spooky sounds at one point.
Thank you. Excuse me. I was a ghost.
Yep. I think you at one point said, "I'm a ghost."
Probably.
No, Sass was trying to intimidate them and successfully intimidated 1.5 of them. But the Dwergar was quite resilient, if not emboldened by the spiritual whispers. She was invisible. She wasn't just walking up to them saying this. Elsewhere, spider crawling across the rooftop, Bruce settled by the chimney to send a message off to the missing Modron. The little machine laid abandoned by a creek covered in mud and grime somewhere near Hyven. But as Bruce's message reached it, the big eye opened to the red light of Lacuna. The voice recognized Bruce, called out to him, asking, "Where are you?" Bruce, terrified, horrified even, ended the message, and the little Modron began marching into the rain, red eye glinting against the storm. And that's where we left off. Just like that, Stefan. Ever marching. Onward, onward, onward. So this was on the 20th evening of Anarum. On a Monday.
You want us to keep marching? We could march.
We'll just-
Keep marching. The great Modron March must
Ants
go on.
marching.
One by one.
Anyway.
Red and black antennas.
No. I was about to do that. See, we're not streaming.
Yeah, we can do this.
Except YouTube will copyright strike it as well.
Yeah. Mhm. No, we can't do this.
I don't think our rendition of Ants Marching by the Dave Matthews Band will even compare.
Yeah. Yeah. The Dave Matthews Band will monetize the 1 minute of our video that Stefan is performing.
She wakes up in the morning. All right, I'll stop.
That's about as
Too
far
close.
as you could get.
Too close. You got to sing off key for it not to get demonetized. Anyway, I believe everyone at this point is going to rest in a respective dragged out bed or an area that's not kind of covered in leaves and dirt and muck from the exposure to the elements. That tarp that you all put over the hole in the building is just shredded and flapping in the wind. Of course, the master bedroom upstairs that Jaquet usually sleeps in is perfectly fine. A little drafty.
Sean, I've been chopping down wood
You have.
all day.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Can I get a roll for that?
Well, how deep into the night do you want to chop wood? You guys got here at sunset.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. I guess I probably didn't get that
You
much.
probably chopped a little bit, like enough for like maybe a fire, a fire to last the evening, because the chimney's intact. So it's kind of like camping outside because the building is half destroyed.
It's like a lean-to.
Exactly. When the wind is blowing in the right direction, it's pretty nice, actually.
Didn't last time we were here, didn't Bruce like throw mattresses down from the from the second floor? Yeah, so I'll just find the mattress that
they
I
don't
slept
smell
on
good
last time.
because it's rained several times since then, and
I'm gross. It's fine.
these mattresses are pretty moldy at this point.
Right,
Yeah, I don't know if you want to sleep on these mattresses.
Shannon doesn't. Saskia, I don't think cares. But no,
You're not a paladin. You're not immune to disease.
No, no, I'm not. I was thinking of something else. No, fine. I'll roll out my bedroll.
Yeah, you guys might even want to drag the mattresses outside.
Fyrn just props up against the wall, close to the fire, and just, sleeps that way.
Okay. Septimus, Bruce sets up his little tent. I imagine Septimus finds a place to relax, though he seems like he is not sleeping well this evening, thinking about the government officials, well, not really the government officials, the company men who were turning over his home. But you all... Good?
Hey, Saskia.
What? I'm tired. I did a lot of spooking.
All right, that's fine. We'll talk over in the morning. That whatever.
No, what? It's fine. I wasn't sleeping it anyway.
No, I think it's better. We could talk about
Fyrn,
it.
I'm fucking awake now. What?
I just was thinking about it, and I was wondering what you plan on saying to the old dragon when we see him.
I'm gonna demand some fucking answers for one. Why he abandoned us on the spire. Why he never showed his face after that. Does loyalty mean anything to him? That sort of shit. Probably.
Do you want to know more about what happened to him, or are we just...
Maybe after get through those initial questions first. I really want to know why he disappeared and why he abandoned us. Because if he hadn't abandoned us and if he had been there to help, perhaps we'd be in a different situation.
What situation would that be? Like, if...
What do you mean? I don't know.
If we escaped that spire with the bone rattler, where do you think we'd be right now?
Well, I think Hastings would still be alive for one, because somebody wouldn't have chopped his fucking head off. I think we'd still be on the ship, honestly. Sailing, maybe dropped you off somewhere, unless you wanted to stay.
Right. I would have left.
But in a way, I'm kind of glad that it happened the way that it did. It's been exciting.
I think it turned out all for the better. Doesn't excuse what he did, though.
No. Gods, no. No, he better have some answers for us. I'm not above pummeling them out of him if I need to.
Should we kill him?
No. Fyrn, we don't need to resort to that every time.
Right. So we should just leave him for dead, like he left us.
Maybe. But We should let him know that we're on official business. Maybe that will make him talk a little more.
Gotten pretty good at flaunting around this badge.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to ask him? I mean, you didn't really know him very long, but is there anything you would ask?
I suppose I'd ask him more about the other members of the Bone Rattlers. I mean, I spent a little time with them, but I didn't really get to know Lasha or Alina, who seem to be in charge now. If there's some way we can...
Insert DM here, because Saskia would very much know about them, and even though Shannon doesn't, but Saskia would be able to tell you all about them if you really wanted to know.
I told you about what you know about them.
Did you? Did I write it down?
Probably. It's okay. I'll say what you know. I did when I first mentioned it, when the very first time they came up. So the other funny thing is, if that never happens, then Jaquet would be dead.
Well, we don't know that for certain.
I don't know that.
We don't have to bring it up either.
I'll say. Bruce turns over from his bed and just, yeah, Jaquet would be dead, and then goes back to
That
sleep.
sounds exactly like Bruce would say in a
It
situation.
But no, Shannon, you knew Lasha and Alina. You knew.
Oh, wait, I think I found it.
Also, for reference, like, you were, Fyrn, you were a stowaway, and you weren't really like necessarily like getting to know people, but you all were on that ship for a while together, like a good like two or 3 weeks. To get from where they picked you up down to Haven out to the middle of the ocean was quite a while.
I just imagined that, even though I knew everybody on board, I spent more time with like the lower end, the ship workers, not the
Exactly.
Me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But yes. So Shannon, you knew you wouldn't have interacted a lot with Alina and Lasha, like generally, like they were above you. Because Lasha was
she was the foremaster.
Yes.
And the ship rumor was that she was really into mystery books.
Correct.
And she's magical.
Yes.
Sea witch and sea witch.
And then you really didn't know Alina well. Alina was like someone who was...
Master.
Truthfully, Alina is probably to you was very similar to the Commodore, in that like prim, proper, strong woman that you would be nervous around.
What? No. Yeah.
And you remember that the ship rumor, the rumor on the ship was that she was a Triton, even though she claimed to be a sea elf.
Yes. Yes.
So she
I have
had
her description. Dusky blue
Yeah.
skin, coral growths on her head, moss green hair, and braids like seagrass, and she dressed well.
Was dressed to the nines. She looked more like a banker. And Lasha was very nice. Like, you didn't have many reasons to interact with her because she would have been interacting. She just wasn't in charge of you. She was in charge of a different group. And
Bjorn
she was much
in charge of me, right?
Bjorn was in charge of you, yes. She was much more of a mystic on the ship, even though she was a foremaster, who are, they're like, they are in charge of deck hands, but she didn't really work that much. She was more mystical, and helped with the navigations because of that.
Cool. I tell you all that, Fear.
Truthfully, Cornelius was actually your foremaster, even though he was...
That fuck?
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
Well, that's exactly why Bjorn was the one giving you commands, because that guy was a lazy elf.
Yep, I have that.
He was beautiful, though.
Yeah, I do.
With his long blonde hair.
full elf relaxed is what I
Yeah,
have written down for them.
He was very chill, and if Bjorn didn't step in as bosun, the people who are working for him wouldn't have done anything.
Makes sense. Cool. So I'll give you a brief history of the people I used to work with on the Bone Rattler, if you'd like. And that was my crew. No longer.
Right. I knew some of that, but I'm really more curious about this Lasha figure. I mean, I told you she spoke to me and warned me not to go on the seas, and
Right.
then,
Utter business,
you know,
right?
the last time we saw the Bone Rattler, there was some magical sea spell work going
Yeah, it was
on.
probably her. But she probably was made to do it, honestly. But Jolena did it. Made her do it.
I just wonder if she's that powerful, maybe she knows something about, you know, what happened to you, why you lost your memories.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe she was there.
No, I think if I remember right, which I often don't, but I would have met them way after that.
Hmm.
Theirs was not the ship that I woke up on. I don't even remember the name of that one.
Maybe
Right. Well, I'm tired. Do you have any more questions?
not right now.
Okay. We have a lot with I mean actually I don't remember actually how long it takes to get to this place we're going to tomorrow. Maybe we talk on the way.
Sure. That way, you know, Loveless can be involved too.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how he's doing on the first watch right now.
I'm snoring.
He is unaware that he's on first watch because he's asleep.
Nobody's watching.
Anyway, you all go to sleep, and it's a quiet evening, and wake up nice and early the next day. It is raining outside, consistently. There's not like a storm. There's not wild winds. It's just raining. It's just downpouring, with the sounds of thunder, but not. It's just very quiet. It's not crashing and thrashing. Seems like the storm you all saw on the horizon, the previous day, has caught up to you. But Septimus and Bruce kind of give each of you sort of a little nod and salute in the morning as they rush into the workshop, saying they have a lot of work to do and good luck with the Dragonborn.
Thanks. Good
Yeah.
luck to you too.
Try not to kill him.
That's what I fucking said.
No promises.
We'll promise to do the right thing. How's that?
Okay.
Uncanny.
And they head into the workshop and start working on Septimus's arm.
Fucking nerds. Shall we?
Right.
Suppose.
Yeah, how long is it going to take to get there? Do you remember? I don't remember.
3 days, I believe, to the crossroads.
Oh, good. So plenty of time to stare at each other.
Saskia, you're driving, right?
You're the
sure.
only one who's been watching Septimus drive.
Yup, sure. Uh-huh.
The last time I tried to drive a cart, you guys yelled at me, so
That's
I went too
right.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
that's right.
That's right. Yeah, I do remember that.
Also, you have a carriage.
Oh,
Not
right.
cart.
We have a carriage. Yes.
Important distinction.
I
Yes, never
definitely
seen a
paid that
carriage
extra
before.
silver.
Yes.
Yeah, we paid a lot for it. It looks very pretty.
It's very pretty. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Give me an animal handling check for Brown and whatever
Map.
the other one's name. Maps.
Natural 20 for a 21.
Okay, so Sass, you like
I
Spe-
get these horses.
well, you
And
like
they
spend a
get
little
me.
time with them. You like spend a little time
Yeah.
with them in the morning, like figuring it out. You like go and you're like, whoa, whoa, and then like
Yeah.
give them a Asia apple.
Mm,
They enjoy it.
I talk to them a lot.
Talk to them. What do you say?
What do I
Hey,
say?
horses, how's it going?
It's a beautiful morning, isn't it? What's it like being a horse, actually? Just really. It's fascinating.
Plop,
Do you
plop,
like
plop,
it?
Plop, plop, plop.
I guess it's honest work, yeah?
It shakes its mane.
Just little chit chat like that, asking them about themselves.
Someone said this the other day, and I can't stop thinking about it. Horses have mullets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
They got
mohawk.
that. They got that little like puff in the front, and then it's all luscious down the back. Anyway,
That's true.
Brown is fairly indifferent, but Maps loves you.
Amazing. With a name like Maps, you have to.
Yeah, so much so that Maps like tries to follow you, but like it's stuck in the rigging of the
Oh,
of the carriage.
Sweet one. Pay attention.
Yeah, Maps is the dumb one. Brown is the serious one.
I love him. I love him so much.
All right, so you get on up and you're like, "Ah," and they go.
Ah!
And it's
Let me know if the speed is too much or too little, or if you need more air, we can go faster.
It's a carriage. There's no air getting in there. It's got closed. There's a little window you could open.
Is it a crank?
You're doing fine.
Thank you.
This is slightly more demeaning than driving the covered cart that you used to have, because you certainly seem like the help.
It's fine.
And I like to imagine
Sure.
it has like nice little things that like there's like hook hangs on the side that have like lanterns you can light in them.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's real New York City vibes. Anyway,
Mhm.
but covered. You had a question, Fyrn?
Yeah. Where was the farm? I think it was kind of on the way to where we're going.
The Septimus's farm?
No, the other farm where we fought the dragon.
Yes. It would be. I believe it would be one day from here, because I remember you guys fought the dragon, and then the next day you made it to Septimus's.
Right. So, Gloveless, do you think we should check up on those farmers from that one time?
Why?
Maybe they saw something. Maybe you want to check and make sure they're okay. That dragon was pretty scary.
First off, it was a wyvern. Second off, not our problem. Last time we got involved in something like that, I died, if you forget. So maybe we just go about our sanctioned work, get our paycheck, and move on.
Oh,
And he goes back, just buries his nose in his romance novel.
Smut.
Puts his
He's
legs up
very
on his crate
smart.
of wine.
Fyrn plans to stick his head out the window when we pass the farm.
Okay. Well, it would be towards the end of this first day's journey that you would come up upon that whole farm territory. You can see that they haven't. You can see all the as you're passing by, and Sass, you would see it obviously from where you're seated. You would see the scorched earth is still kind of like darkened, although some of the ash has been kind of somewhat washed away or blown away in the wind. You can see the whole clearing where the fight happened. There's You actually almost miss it at first because they've harvested the rest of the field, so it's not as pronounced where it is. Scorch marks, you can notice it. And something that you would immediately notice upon getting close enough to it, Fyrn with your head out the window, Sass looking over, is the sword melted into the ground is still there.
I was wondering if that would still be there.
And as you pass it, you can see there are things there hanging off the sword. People have put like garlands over it. There's bowls and other trinkets at the base of the sword. It has become, oddly enough, a shrine of some sort as you pass by.
Oh, that's nice. Fyrn, do you see that?
They left gifts for me.
No, not for you. For what we did, what you did. But they're not for you to take.
No?
No. No.
You would see a few children hanging around it with looks like a woman in her late 30s, probably their mother or one of their mothers. And you can see one kid runs up to it and just starts tugging on it to try to pull it out of the ground to extract it. This is a visited site now. This is a landmark. As the mother comes over and just sort of puts her arms around her son, over her son's shoulders, kind of putting them together at his chest as they all kind of gather around it. And the littlest one goes up and tosses a coin into one of the clay bowls.
That's lovely.
Yeah, Fyrn just like has a small smirk as he looks on this, and just he's gonna scream out to them and just be like,
I did that.
"That was me. Have a good day."
And as any good tourists, they believe you. No, the one of the kids does kind of get a beaming smile and jumps up and down, and points to the cart, and then to his mother, and the mother just shakes her head at him, being like, "No, they're trying to scam us. That is not the Storm Herald."
I'm just gonna make my sword appear in my hand and do green flame blade and swing it around a little bit, just to put on a show.
She
And
grabs, she collects her children and turns them away and starts walking away.
Too much fear. Too
Oh.
much. Scared him.
But
Maybe next time.
just as quickly as it came into your view, it disappears behind you.
I'm ready to stop for the night. Are y'all ready?
Sure.
At this point, Jaquet has broken open his crate. He's got a bottle. It's already partially finished. As he goes, "Oh, we've gotten that far? Fantastic. Good.
You gonna
Maybe
share
one of
some of
you-
that?
Do you want to pay for some of this?
No.
Okay. I'm sharing the carriage, aren't I? And the horses?
I want to. What's the word?
You
Halt,
paying Saskia
Oh.
to
No.
be your
halts the
driver?
horses so quickly that he drops his bottle of wine.
I think Jaquet's probably pretty dexterous,
Whoa!
but I guess he
probably.
is drunk if he's almost finished a full bottle.
No, it's not a full bottle. It's partially finished.
Okay.
No.
Thank you for the
I mean, if you want me to make like a sleight of hand with disadvantage, sure.
clarification. Yeah, let's do it. You'd have to roll pretty low not to get this, but I imagine
Well, that's the dice tell stories, right? That
Exactly.
was 25, so
he just
Even
wanted
with
to. He just
disadvantage.
wanted to get his 25.
He did.
I mean, he would have had to roll
actually-
pretty. Like, you'd have to get like a nat 1 to have actually dropped that with your modifier,
Yeah.
right?
He
What is your
intentionally
modifier?
spilled it, but
plus
then
7.
Oh, okay. Actually, no, there was a good chance he could have
Yeah.
messed that up. But no, it's almost. I imagine it's almost like everyone mistook Jaquet's like sleepiness, like nappiness, to be like drunkenness, and he just it goes and maybe the bottle goes up a little bit, but he quickly snatches it at the neck and takes a swig of it. But you can stop for the evening. and find a nice spot off the road to park the carriage and get some rest.
Yes, please.
Okay. You'll have to find a dry area, or you can cram into the carriage. It won't be super comfortable, but it will be dry. Since none of you have tents.
Jaquet has a tent.
Oh, you do?
That's his whole thing. He has.
Oh, you're right.
Robespierre
You're right.
set it
He
up.
does. You've got the nice tent. Yeah, that's right. I remember that now. Yes. So, Jaquet, if you want, you can have Robespierre set up your nice tent. The other two, you can either sleep in the rain or kind of like uncomfortably like sleep in the cart.
I mean,
Carriage.
I would have tried to scout through the rain for somewhere dry. Would you like a
Sure. Go ahead and give me a
some sort of
survival check.
Survival. Ooh, that's not as good.
Can I assist?
Wow.
Sure.
Well, I got a dirty 20.
Okay. So I mean, it's pretty hard to find somewhere dry because it's just been raining all day. So most places are pretty wet. You might be able to find like a rock outcropping in the foothills. You'd have to go a little far from the road though to find a dry place. So
Probably shouldn't do that.
I would
with
probably
the
recommend
carriage.
staying closer to the carriage than going towards the foothills.
All right, then I'll
So you're successful, but it's too far away.
but it's ill-advised.
Yes.
Right, well, I will then say goodnight to Brown and Maps, and I'll give Maps a little extra scritch and say, thank you did such a good job today. And then I will sit in the cart for the night. Somebody else needs to drive tomorrow. It was a long fucking day.
From his tent, Jaquet just goes, "What do you mean? You literally sit up there and just swish the reins."
Yeah, but it's so stiff and I can't really move because you got to keep a tight grip on the reins. And I just, you know what? You should give it a try so you can see what it's like. I can show you how to do it. It's really not that hard. It's just boring.
Always an excuse with you.
Fyrn's also in the cart. Carriage.
Oh gosh. Yes. So cart carriage. Yes, you can rest for the evening. Sass, you have some dreams. Now these are not patron dreams. You are just having a few nightmares in the night. You find yourself waking up several times in the night, feeling sweaty, and with an anxious panic as you almost like gasp for air as you come awake. Every now and then, Fyrn, you might notice this and just sort of wake for a moment. But I'll describe the dreams that you have. They always start the same, somewhere in the middle. It is the night of the attack on the Stormspire. And you awake in these dreams either on the rowboat over or face down in the mud on the island. The rain rushing down. And each time one of your companions is there. Whether it's Bjorn, the Dragonborn, Twigsnap, little Kenku girl, Cornelius, the laid-back elf, or Fyrn. Everyone but Fyrn, though, says the same thing to you. Some variation of, why did you let us die? You see the red flare of the gun Twigsnap fires off, with the monstrous fire elemental that rips apart the airship. You hear Fyrn yelling in the rain as he struggles to fight the old sentry machina. The dream always ends the exact same way, with the skyship falling And as it's about to hit you, the detonation of the device that sends you flying back into the water. And as you hit the water is when you feel yourself almost break into a million pieces. And then kind of come back together. And this is the only part of the dream that you feel the presence of your patron. As if she's putting you back together. And as you're back into one piece in the inky dark water, you look around and you just see trails of bubbles from each of your companions, including Fyrn and now Jaquet, sinking to the bottom of the ocean until it's all dark. And you wake up with a gasp.
I'll look over and make sure Fyrn is still there.
Fyrn is very much alive in there.
Look out in the window, the tent.
The tent is still there. You can hear the rain pitter-pattering across it. With the tabaxi snores.
Fyrn is sleeping upright, like with just like on the bench, and like you could see that his his fake eye is open. It's just as creepy as always.
And I'm thinking as I'm trying to remember the dream as it always like kind of fades away, like you're trying to hold like water in your hands. It just keeps trickling away. Did I actually die? Did she put me back together? Am I dead now? And just kind of like thinking that until I'm like, no, I didn't die. Fucking hurt, but it didn't die. No, I'm not dead. No, they're not dead. Bjorn's not dead because we're going to see him. I don't know about the other two, but I have no proof that they are. So kind of just like talking to myself and talking myself back into reality.
Yeah, and each time you do, you talk yourself to sleep.
Yeah.
And the dream comes back each time. With slight variations. The last one, before you awake to the morning light rising on the horizon, you are stuck at that last part where you are put back together. In this last dream, when you are put back together, finally, you are not in inky black water. You are in that cave with the sand, small lagoon, the streams of water and sand coming from the ceilings, with the living paintings. And now there's one of the airship sinking in the water in the storm, in a broken storm spire.
And that wasn't there before?
No.
What are the other ones?
The other ones are, to you, just various scenes of ships being torn apart by storms. All of them are tumultuous, chaotic scenes of storms. And they're all at sea. There's nothing that's at land. And when you turn to run, to try to escape, you get to the antechamber where you arrived last time, with the underwater passage filled with seagrass. You see each of your companions washed up on the shore of it. You go up to Fyrn, and you turn him over, and it looks as if he's been dead for weeks. As if sea creatures had eaten away at his face. You can see a barnacle sticking out of his cheek.
What does it mean? I don't understand what you're trying to tell me.
The fright of this last vision of Fyrn decomposing shuts you awake.
Yeah.
And you can hear the song of birds of the morning. The rain has stopped, and you can see Fyrn sitting across from you, magic eye open. As I imagine he's just sort of like head back and his mouth's open. You can hear a little light snore coming out.
As I jolt awake from this dream, I'll say out loud, "What does it mean?"
What?
What?
You said something. Were you
I
sleeping?
did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was. I slept like fucking shit though. I was having a nightmare. I don't know if you would consider your dreams nightmares, but kept seeing the same thing over and over and over again. I don't know what it means. I think she was trying to tell me something, but I don't fucking get it.
Shannon, Sass, you get a sense that these weren't all her. Some of these were just simply dreams. Like literally your anxiety about the Stormspire manifesting in your dreams. It's only that last one and the end of the dreams. Almost like she's waking up into the dream in that moment and you're sharing the dream. And she's just frantically putting pieces back together. Is like the feeling you get from her presence. It doesn't feel like she might not even be trying to tell you anything. She's just present.
I'm sorry I woke you up. I didn't mean to.
That's all right.
I was fucking nervous. This whole business with the Stormspire and Bjorn and the Commodore is just, I don't know.
So hopefully we can get this resolved, get the information that the Commodore requires, and we can put this all behind us, right?
Yeah, maybe. Actually, this makes me think for a minute. Jaquet, are you awake? I need to talk to you. Now, please, it's important.
Talk. I'm listening.
No, I want to see your face when we're fucking talking. Please, come sit in this pretty cart you got.
Crescent heart. It does take like a few minutes as you hear shuffling and occasional. No, goddamn, fuck. Robespierre didn't put this up right. Why is this hanging here? Before he finally emerges.
And Jaquet, when you get out of the tent, like I imagine you're livid at the sight of how early it actually is. Now that you can see where the sun is in the sky, like this is far earlier than you usually wake up.
Speaking of which, what's the weather like today?
It's not raining. It is the sun is coming through. There are clouds in the sky. It's actually quite a beautiful sky. You see streaks of clouds with the blue of the sky that at this early hour has some faded purples to it still, with the orange horizon, with just the head of the sun peeking over the clouds. It is quite chilly though. It's one of those autumn days that like you feel warm in the sun, but the air itself is very crisp and cold.
As Jaquet steps out and immediately shivers and goes back in to grab a heavier cloak that he throws on.
It's one of those days where you can see in the shadows of the morning where the sun hasn't crept up yet, there's frost on the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fyrn would probably take his furs off of his armor that like drape over it and maybe just like throw one over the horses to just keep them warm throughout the day.
Oh, Fyrn, they like that. That's very kind of you.
Hopefully it doesn't fall off.
Yeah. As Jaquet, I imagine you're coming back over to get into the carriage. I will have decided that it's too crowded and I need to get out into and stand into the carriage, stand outside and start pacing back and forth.
So Jaquet just leans against the side by the door as in the background Robespierre is breaking down the tent. As he goes, okay, you wanted to talk? Talk.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
A day now.
I was just telling Fyrn I was having a nightmare, and it's a recurring dream. Y'all were dead. There were dead people, and they kept asking me a question. It doesn't matter. I'm fucking terrified of talking to Bjorn. Even though I know him, even though I know we're protected in some way, I guess, for this job. I don't know why, but I'm just so nervous to talk to him. But I think I need to be the one to talk to him because I'm the one that knows him the best out of the three of us that are here. But I don't know where to fucking start. Conversations, as you can very clearly tell, are not my strong suit. How do you do it? How do you have a conversation? How do you go into something like this, and how do you ask the right questions? Like, I can't even hold this fucking conversation right now, and I've known you for how long? And just maybe I just start. I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Maybe I just start by saying hello to him and see where that goes. I kind of gauge the mood of that, and then I don't know. Am I going to be able to stop myself from throttling him for leaving us there? I don't know. Where do I start?
I'm sorry, you asked a lot of questions in that, which make no sense to me.
Let me start again. I don't know how to host a coherent conversation enough to get the information that we need. You're very good at that. So how do you do it?
I don't know.
I need you to help me. I need you to coach me, Jaquet. I need you to tell me what to say.
You could give me all the years on Ardun, and
All
I would
right,
still
all
not
right.
be able to coach you
Okay.
on how
Yes,
to speak as
insults
eloquently as
I'm not.
myself.
I don't know much about what you're talking about, but maybe it would help to practice. You ever hear of role play?
Right. Kind of. Yeah. So then you're supposed to be.
Oh,
I don't
I'm
know,
not
who
gonna be. I'm not gonna be the Bjorn. Make Jaquet do it.
All right.
He's
then
a good
you're
actor.
Supposed to be coaching her. How can I coach? You know what? Okay. So, Saskia.
Uh-huh.
And then Jaquet goes into the carriage and closes the door and then opens the window and goes, I'm Bjorn.
Uh-huh.
That door is his house.
Okay. Right.
And scene. And he closes the window. He opens the window again. You can start by knocking.
I was getting there. Thank you. A loud knock, a quiet knock, like how?
Opens it again, or actually doesn't even open it. Just goes, by the crescent heart. What's wrong with you, woman? Knock on the fucking door. And then from inside, you just hear yeah, who is it?
A traveler?
I'm not interested. Move
No,
along.
I lied. No, I lied. It's Saskia. I'm holding my tiny ship.
The door opens a creak and Jaquet peeks out. He goes, Saskia? Like Saskia Seablood? That's your last name, right?
Yes, yeah. We used to be crewmates on the
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember you. What are you doing here?
I don't think that's what he sounded like.
I don't fucking know what he sounds like because I never met the bastard, okay? Otherwise, I could unearly mimic his voice as per my class features.
I don't know. I don't know, Jaquet. I don't know where to start. I don't.
He throws open the door and like marches out and goes, "Okay, Saskia, you want to know my process?"
Yes. Please, what is your process?
Fucking act like a normal fucking person. And he kind of smacks her on the shoulder and goes, it's not that hard, okay? You know how we talk?
It's
How
hard
you
for
talk
me.
to Fyrn? How you
It's
talk
hard
to
for me.
Septimus? What? Saying what's on your mind? Saying what's in your
Yeah.
heart?
Yes. It's hard.
That's
My
hard
words
for you?
get- Yes. What parts of
sorry.
that don't you understand?
Fyrn, is talking hard for you? Never mind, I know the answer to that. I hear when you talk. It's clearly a challenge.
Just
I mean,
because
yeah,
it's easy for you,
sometimes.
Jaquet, doesn't mean it's easy for everyone, which is why I'm asking for fucking help.
It's not that it's easy. It's the
Natural.
wind. Yes, it's
Not
natural.
it's not for me.
Explains a lot about your upbringing,
Okay.
which I understand you don't remember, so we
No,
can't really get into that. But
Are you going to answer my question or not? So you're just going to watch me fumble my way through it when we get there.
as entertaining as that might be, we do have a job here, and I do need you at your peak performance. So, crash test in the School of Eloquence with Jaquet Touchard. Now, remember, in every conversation, you, he says, pointing his finger, jabbing his finger at Saskia, want something. And by the end of it, God's
What-
damn, you will have that.
Like
So
a
what
piece
do
of
you want
bread?
from this conversation?
Like food?
What? No, what? Maybe. I don't know. Is he a good cook?
I don't know. He wasn't the cook on the ship.
Okay, so why do you want food from him?
I don't know. You asked me what I wanted. That was the first thing I thought of.
No.
I'm hungry too.
There's hardtack in the trunk, okay? Maps, I don't want anything out of you. What do you want from this conversation?
And thinking back to the conversation that I had with Fyrn 2 nights ago, 2 nights ago. Answers. I want answers.
Okay. Answers. Now, what questions will you ask to get to those answers?
Why'd you leave? Why didn't you come back? Did you really know what you were sending us for? And if you did, why did you let us do it?
I mean, bravo. That seems like a pretty good fucking place to start, right?
Yeah. Wow. It did feel like the wind. You're really good at this.
Well, you know, I've had plenty of time and I've talked my way out of many a situation.
That's for sure. Okay.
You've got it in you, Saskia, he says as he walks past her to kind of get up onto the where you command the horses from, whatever that is called, the seat. As he kind of just like knocks her on the shoulder.
Coach, maybe?
I'm gonna go with seat. And he goes, "Don't doubt yourself. That's all it is."
Really?
But what do I know? I'm just at the backseat with no doubt in my mind, and a lot of wine in a carriage.
Huh. Well, thank you. Be nice to Maps, please. Both of them, really, but Maps especially.
Okay. Fyrn, you should probably take your furs off. It's gonna fall off once we start going.
All right, I do that. Maybe
Matt,
got a little wet.
Maps taste a dump.
Oh, Map's got big craps.
It's called a box seat,
Ah,
and then there's the box, which is where passengers sit. Anyway, so after this morning lesson with Professor Touchard, he's got that fake teaching license for a reason.
He does.
You hit the road. This being This is your second day of travel.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. So,
And I don't, was it 3 days from Septimus's farm? I just said that because I vaguely remembered it.
It's
Okay.
2 days. You'll get there by the end of the day because it was 3 days from Septimus Farm to Billowgrass.
Billowgrass.
Mhm.
Should go.
So you'll arrive there by sunset as long as there's no issues on the road. Which right now, with the nice shining day, you're not anticipating anything. You keep an eye on sort of the farms all around. They're mostly barren because the harvest has happened. So you can see sort of the tillage lines. You can see some of the remnants, some of the, unworthy harvests that kind of got left behind. And it's like immensely flat in this region. But then, about a mile in or a couple miles in from the road, you can still see rising up on the horizon is the Roja Hills, which hug the or sort of cradle the farmlands of Raukievo. Septimus's farm is very close to the Roja Hills, which is where Fyrn, you would have been doing most of your logging in the forest of the Roja Hills. And where Sass found a nice dry cave that was too far from the carriage. But today, other than a few hawks in the sky that spook Jaquet for a second because he thinks they're wyverns, there's
shadows.
Really not much as far as danger. You see some vescent blots that are remaining from the storm floating in the sky as you get closer to the late afternoon, as they're sort of just lazily bloop, bloop. And you can even see they start to like shrink and dissipate, almost like they evaporate. Even though they are ostensibly supposed to be living elementals, they seem more like clouds to you when you watch them in this day that's very long and boring up in the box seat.
Jaquet has brought up his novel and definitely is reading it as he's driving. He's a distracted driver. Oh, no. Back. Okay. Oh yeah. Hey.
As you hear the horses like speeding up as they almost fall into a ditch. But as you get closer to sunset, you start to see the road looks more traveled. The farmland all around obviously is still kind of shorn down and harvested. And on the horizon, since it's so flat, you can see the building that is the Crossroads Tavern. And you know that you'll...
Badger and Coyote.
That's correct.
Or the Coyote and Badger.
Yes, on the Northwest Road. The Badger and Coyote Public House, owned by...
Oh, I thought it was Coyote and Badger.
No, it's the Badger and Coyote.
Oh, I was
written down. With Yorke, our Firbolg tavern keeper. As you approach, you can see the familiar kind of like destitution of this place. It's literally just two roads crossing each other with a single tavern in one of the corners of it. You do see what looks like a little like really like quickly made shack built off the edge of it, off the back of it, as you approach. And it's got that familiar look. It's got that front porch with a few rocking chairs on it. You know what it kind of looks like? You guys remember Courage, the Cowardly Dog?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks like their house, that just like wooden shack with the front porch.
Does it have the windmill?
It doesn't have a windmill, but there are windmills in this area near the farmhouses. Because it's like, you can see other farmhouses within eyesight of the Crossroads Tavern. And you can see the real like small stables only has a couple horses in it. So there might be a few folks staying at the tavern. And you can see lounging on the front porch is the dog that you remember being here.
Courage?
It's not Courage. The big giant mastiff that Yorke keeps. What would you like to do?
Jaquet will drive the carriage over to the stables
Mhm.
To hop off, and then almost looks expectantly at Saskia to unbridle the horses.
You just get so long with them. I thought you wanted to spend more time.
I'll do maps, you do Brown.
As he goes over to Brown and like just kind of puts his hands on the bridle and just goes like looks around and if I just
Do you not know how to do it?
Well, you know what's the funny thing though, Sass? You wouldn't really know how to do it.
I don't either. Yeah, absolutely not.
Because
And
you've
Fyrn is
I'm
more than
proficient
happy
in
to
water
just walk
vehicles.
into the tavern and ignore everything that's happening.
As I imagine the two of you opposite each other on either side of your horse, just like neither of you wanting to admit that you don't know what you're doing.
Until somebody comes and takes pity on us.
It's like Taskmaster.
Yeah.
You just gotta figure it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of buckles that you start to undo. You get it. You'll get it eventually. Some of it's self-explanatory. It's maybe not done quickly like someone who knows how to do it would do it, but you get it done, and you're able to tie them up. Yorke will probably come out and fix anything that you do wrong later.
So I don't remember. Does he live near here?
Jaquet points to the shoddily constructed shack that's on the back and goes, "My guess, he's a permanent resident." Permanent resident.
Right. Okay. I was thinking as you were driving, how we should go in. I think maybe, and you can tell me if this is stupid. I know you'll tell me if it's a stupid idea, but maybe you two are the ones that knock on the door and you flash your badges and you say, "Oh, we're from the Commodore's office," and do that whole thing, and then you can like part like waves, and then I'll be there, just to be like, demanding
dramatic.
answers.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, just demanding the answers. Maybe not. I'll start. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the moments, but I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's good. A little puts on some airs, really gives us that weight of the Commodore's office, and as we part and you come forward, maybe he'll be so thrown back, the truth will simply spill out.
Maybe. I actually didn't think about that until right now. He might not have even expected us to survive. It's another question I'm gonna ask him.
Oh, he definitely thinks we're dead.
Yeah, as Jaquet kind of steers her towards the inn, the tavern, he goes, 100%, he thinks we're dead.
Well, then
Unless
it'll-
he's heard the stories. Well, you, and Fyrn. He doesn't know who I am.
Yeah. Now I'm just lost in thought.
As you
Fyrn's got
Lead her
the
to the
front
tavern.
door to the tavern like half open as he's waiting for everyone else.
all right, so
So, do you want to ask Yorke first, or just go straight?
Oh, 100%. Let's get the deets, as they say.
Yeah.
Great.
I might need a
Alright.
drink before we do it too. But yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
As you open the door, you can see there are a few. There's 3 patrons inside. For the 3 horses outside. And they just look like simple travelers. They have a few bags of supplies, possibly some goods to trade. Probably folks coming from one of the northern or southern markets who are able to pass through these roads thanks to you all, with the defeat of the bandits that were terrorizing this territory. But you see Yorke up there at the front, his long Firbolg arms as he sits on his stool, knees way too high because the stool is too small for him, as one arm is just stirring the cauldron of everlasting soup, while the other one is reaching down below to grab an old ale mug that he spits his chewing tobacco into.
Jaquet visibly shudders as the hair rises on the nape of his neck.
puts it down next to another ale mug that looks exactly identical, but actually has ale in it.
Exactly, like the last time you were here. As he does exactly that, and then picks up a mug that looks the same, and welcome, travelers. You looking for a room for the night?
No, my friend. Do you remember us?
Jaquet says, flourishing, gesturing to his two companions and himself.
He just like sort of chewing on that tobacco, just lip smacking as he squints, and like his eyes are really tiny, like his like almost like his skin is like wrinkled over them. He's got that jaw that extends out forward. He almost looks like he's missing like some of his bottom teeth, probably from too much chewing tobacco at his age. He goes, never seen you before.
Iron and Mana. We were through here about a month ago. We saved Billowgrass from those bandits. We suffered your insufferability staying here 2 nights.
Nope. It sounds like a you problem, though. Insufferability. Oh.
Okay, well, we're also here on business again.
This Jaquet says as he now kind of like settles up to the bar, and he goes,
We're looking for a Dragonborn. Blue one at that. Any
Yep.
chance you've seen one around?
Yep.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Where about?
No, for a while we were staying in the shack in the back. He built it. Real drunk, drinking a lot. We ran out of coin, so he went into the woods. That was about 5 days ago.
Just went into the woods?
He puts his ale mug down, picks up the other one, spits into it.
again,
Puts it down.
Jaquet visibly shudders.
He takes the spoon out of the soup, and you can see it just sort of like this like brown muck slops off of it as he bangs it against the side to dry it off. Puts it down. I'm not too nosy about folks' business when they come through, but he seemed to want to fend for himself. He just said he was going out there to find a new home. Not too far. Roja Hills.
Any chance you know of any dangers out in those woods? Out in the hills?
Hills are more dangerous than the farms, of course. There's tales of creatures in the night who come to kill livestock and those who wander too far from the lights of their farm or stead. Gangly creatures, black feathered wings, suck the blood out of you. Or stories say they take the skulls of their victims. They collect them. Bone eaters, they call them.
Okay. Enough fairy tales.
As he picks up the wrong cup and spits into his beer and puts it down.
So it's dangerous, is what you're saying. And he's been out there 5 days now?
Yeah, that's right.
And then just turning away from Yarrick to the other two,
Jaquet goes, well, looks like this will be more work than we thought.
I lean over Jaquet just to look at Yarrick for one question. Has anyone used the cabin since he left?
No.
Is it open?
Door's unlocked.
All right, we're gonna take a look. We won't take anything.
There shouldn't be anything in there unless he left something.
come on, let's walk outside while we think of a plan.
Okay.
Yeah, so Fyrn's gonna head over there and say, yeah, I mean, if he's 5 days out on foot, we might be able to catch up to him, but without a good heading, it's gonna be pretty difficult. Hopefully we can find a clue or something to figure out where he was going.
I'd also rather not hunt him at night if those stories
We're gonna
are
spend the
true.
night here, and we'll start in the morning. Yes,
Yeah.
but if he's 5 days out, this is not worth the time. Quite frankly.
I will say he didn't say he was 5 days out. He said he
Right,
left
right.
5 days ago. Doesn't
Do you
mean he
think he
went
actually
5
left?
days away.
Maybe he left and came back, and he didn't notice.
Let's see what the
I
house
don't
has
know.
to say.
Yeah, let's see what the house
Shack.
has to say. This shack. Let's see what it says. Yeah.
Fyrn goes for the door.
As soon as you go to reach for it and grab the handle, the door just falls in the inside. And as the light from the setting sun comes in, it's pretty dark in there. It is
I can see.
riddled with booze jugs, like real stereotypical, like triple X on the front jugs that are all about. There's a small cot and a very tiny desk with a really small stool. All over the place are kind of like crude drawings that are scrawled with just some charcoal, it looks like, or some crude paint. A lot of them, some of them are just sort of like scribbles. It's just like scribbling the charcoal across, almost like it's a dark abyss that he's drawing. Others show depict the spire a little bit, and then some look like they're almost like plans for a house that are these ones look like the freshest, for lack of a better word. They're on the desk. They're not like scattered on the ground. That has rather tall, and it almost looks like it has like ropes coming off of it connecting to these crudely drawn trees. It almost looks like it has like a mast, even though it's a house on land. But go ahead and give me an investigation check for anything further than the obvious. Anyone can give one, or someone can do it with advantage with help.
Who's got the best investigation?
I got +2.
+4.
All right. So Jaquet is going to
Be like, all right, Fyrn, we don't have the nerds here, but you've got to do. Remember, you are Bjorn. Where does he leave it? What are we looking for? What's going on? And gives him some bardic inspiration. So that's a d6.
I rolled a 13.
Well, I rolled once, so I'm gonna roll again.
You get advantage?
Your bardic
Oh,
inspiration.
what
I
is-
get
isn't
a
it?
d6.
Bardic, it gives you a d6. It's not inspiration.
Okay, so my first roll was a 15, and I'll add a d6 to it. For 3, that'll make 18.
Excellent. That's what you needed. So, Sass, you kind of like, I imagine like just like, or like picking up every piece of paper you can see, and it's just the same thing over and over again. Scribbles of darkness versus images of the spire. So they're actually, the one thing I will say is they're starting to get good. Like he like there is a like a discipline happening. He's not just drawing these in a mad haze. Like he seems interested in getting better is what you can put together from the pieces of paper. But they all have the same subject. With the 13, I'll say you do start to find some that have crude depictions of Twig Snap, Cornelius, Fyrn, and you. From what you can tell from the vague drawings, like, and when I say crude, I don't mean like they're stick figures. I mean they're like it's you with maybe it's not quite you, but then you see some. It has a hat. It's vaguely your shape. Like he might not even fully remember what you look like. He's just drawing from the clearest memories he has. And eventually, when you get to some of the charcoal drawings, they get quite good, like to the point where you're like, "That's me." Like it's not really like if you held it up next to you, someone would be like, "No," but like you recognize yourself in it, and you start to, and you see these faces you haven't seen in months. All people you presume were dead or betrayed you. You see Twig Snap leaning against her long hooked pole that she used to use to pull herself up into the rigging. You can see Cornelius with his hands in his pocket with his fluffy shirt, that lackadaisical look, his golden hair just sweeping back. You see Fyrn drawn like as this like seafaring like ruffian almost. And like yourself is like with this sad look on your face always. And he always seems to color in with his paints your amulet. Fyrn, you find mingled with all of this is a note. Tucked away, almost forgotten, as if it fell off of the desk and was under the bed, mixed in with some of the jugs, empty wine jugs. And it very, very simply reads, "Meet me in the Roja Hills if you are truly alive. Half a day from your inn. Listen for the chimes."
I read it out loud. Is it what do you call it? Does it have a name at the bottom, like a to or from?
No. It is
Strange, right?
the handwriting is pretty messy.
I mean, when you say it's messy, like, does it feel like he's drunk or he's in distress? I mean, I guess you can't really tell, but
No. You wouldn't really be able to tell. It seems messy
like,
in the way
compared
that
to his other writing.
Yeah, so you're not sure if this is to somebody or was delivered to Bjorn. But the handwriting doesn't look like the messiness of someone who's drunk or someone who is injured. It looks like the messiness of someone who has bad habits that they've developed over the years. And they draw their D's wrong. They curve their S's at the end so that they basically disappear into just a scribble. Like just someone who never really learned to write properly, probably learned to write on a pirate ship.
Or did it give us a direction? Roja Hills?
Yes,
was
it
the
would have.
direction?
So it would have told you to go basically northeast, basically like diagonal from the tavern directly towards the hills themselves.
What do you think?
Okay. I think that makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, and it seems like just based on these drawings, and maybe it's just an elaborate ruse, but it seems like he was drawing us, what he remembered, and is feeling guilty about it and wanted whoever was left, if they found him, to go find him. I don't really know, but I think this just solidifies now that we rest tonight and we go tomorrow to the hills to find him.
Sounds good.
Easy enough.
We might have the element of surprise if we leave now. Catch
It's
him
dark out.
unawares.
No, it's not safe, Fyrn. I don't
He's
feel like fighting.
going to be unaware no matter what. There's no way of him knowing that we're coming.
Right. And I highly doubt that he probably wrote it on a whim and wasn't really expecting anything to come of it.
Or it's not even for us. It was delivered to
I-
him. It does say your inn. This is not our inn.
That's true.
Might need to prepare ourselves to find a corpse already.
That's true. I missed that.
But I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure we'll get the answers you need.
Right.
We'll
yeah.
see.
Yeah. No, it'll be fine.
Well, I guess we should get some rooms.
Yeah.
This disgusting, pathetic excuse of an inn.
You can sleep outside in your tent if you want.
I was just gonna say that.
Like a pedestrian? I think not.
So yeah, you can go in, get rooms. It's 2 copper per room.
Ooh, copper for this shit?
Saskia,
market
do you-
rate, as he says, as he drinks the beer that has his spit in it.
Amazing.
Doesn't
Did you
flinch.
take those portraits or not? Because if you don't, Fyrn will.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take one of each. One of each of us. Maybe 2 of me. Just cause.
Yeah, Fyrn's gonna make sure that there's no pictures of him or Saskia left in the thing. Like whether they're what he just doesn't want any evidence of like those 2 left behind.
Yeah. And Fyrn, as you're taking all the pictures of you and Sass, you're moving through the papers. You kind of like uncover some that Sass missed with your carryover 18 here. As you
Sure.
can see, there's a few pictures that just sort of depict just an endless shore. Like it's just like the page is almost cut in half by the sea and a shore. And you can see
She's by the sheep.
this one's a little bit more abstract. As you can see, he dripped ink along the divide. So there's individual drops that almost look like they've washed up on the shore as you look at it. And then as you move that one, the last thing you see before you leave is one of the all black charcoals that is painted on it in the crude paints, 2 green circles that look almost like eyes.
I take the spooky eye one.
Mhm.
I take all the ones that are similar to us,
Mhm.
that like resemble us, and maybe I'll just take one of each unique crew member that I see, so that way I have like a pictures of basically.
Have you
everyone
seen this
and go
person?
that way. Yeah, exactly.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, totally. Okay. You grab all of this and you all can head inside and find yourselves a room for an extra copper. You can get yourself a bowl of soup.
Nice. I do that.
Uh,
I've had the soup before. It ain't that bad.
And if you pay another copper, you can also get some really, really cheap beer.
Jaquet pays for his room, takes some rations and his bottle of wine, and just goes to his room.
Yeah. He does. The only thing he has that's not like cheap stew and cheap beer is he, oddly enough, has nice rums. Like he just has like a nice collection of rum. That occasionally you'll see him just like pour a glug into the stew.
Oh.
As he sees anyone who looks at this with disgust, he goes, sweetens it. But
Well, if it's always boiling, you know, the alcohol's gonna.
yeah, exactly. And you can-
Yeah, I
you
would
can rest.
say Fyrn stays up a little late, just hangs out in the front, eating the soups and drinking slowly, you know, just to make sure that, you know, it's safe. You know, there isn't anybody weird or suspicious. You know, the last
Yeah.
time he was here, there was some creepy couple. He wasn't into it, so he's just like making sure he's basically taking first watch, but sitting out there.
Yeah.
I'll stay up with you just for a little bit before I go to bed, just looking at all the drawings. I don't know if you show. Do you?
Yeah,
do
I mean, if you
show all
asked,
the
I would
ones?
pull him out.
Yeah. Do the eyes look like patrons' eyes or eyes I've seen before?
I mean, they could be. The green is familiar to you in the sense that it's similar to the green auroras you see. It's certainly, the inky darkness with the two eyes makes you think of your dreams a little bit, although you didn't see eyes in that dream.
Right.
Most of the time when you see eyes, when it's relating to your patron, it is your eye
Right.
that you see.
Mhm.
Or it's the glow, the green glow of the
anglerfish.
the angler eye, or the angler lure.
Yeah. Fyrn, can I? It's not really yours, but you took it, so I guess it's yours now. Do you mind if I hold this one?
Sure,
Just
I don't
another-
mind.
Another question I want to ask you. I've got quite a list. I hope I can remember it all. Maybe I should write it down. I'm tired. Good night.
All right. If you have any more nightmares, you could come back out. I'll be up for a little while longer.
Okay. I hope not. Thank you. I got my ship.
All right.
Yeah. And you all can find some rest. Fear not much happens. You see the people who are staying there have their own rooms. And no one new comes along in the night. So you can find some rest yourself as you have a safe evening. Sass, you don't have any nightmares of that kind. Maybe you have a public speaking nightmare where you're standing in front of your class
Yep,
and all your teeth fall out.
100%. Definitely one of those.
But the night goes on without any disturbances. Now, as you all wake up the next morning to start your journey to the Roja Hills, we're going to take a short break.
Sounds good.
But we shall be back shortly, folks. Wherever you are in the world, on the internet, YouTubes. See you soon. Welcome back to Adrift in Aldhalor. Our three travelers have arrived in the crossroads and have taken a night's rest in the Coyote and Badger, or the Badger and Coyote public house. And they have found some clues to the whereabouts of Bjorn Turneroth, the bounty that they have, as well as the old crewmate of Saskia, as well as fit in a few public speaking lessons for Saskia and persuasion lessons. About 100 more of those, and maybe you'll get proficiency.
Excellent.
And now they're resting through the night, and morning has come. They can all wake up bright and early to get started on the day to travel up to the Roja Hills to find Bjorn. Anything you'd like to do before heading out?
Oops, sorry.
Go ahead. I said anything.
We
you wanna
lost
do.
him.
Oh no!
Oh,
Maybe
Wait, I
maybe,
can
maybe
see you
it's
guys.
Just catch up.
no,
No.
I'm just gonna catch up. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
he spoke too soon.
I know.
I mean,
But I can-
technically, this would be like the best possible situation
For
him
the
to
recording, everyone,
explode, because we just
Bear
got
with
off
me,
break.
because obviously you can hear them and see me, but I have frozen to them.
But
'cause all of
he's
this is
still
local,
exploded.
so this will be very entertaining for Shannon to cut out of the recording.
Hey!
Hey!
So it's terrible.
What?
Nothing changed for me. You guys,
No?
I heard everything you just said. It's all in the recording because it's locally recorded. I was just looking at the camera, going, "This will be fun for Shannon to clip out."
Yeah.
But we are back. Apparently, my internet, after I said it is better, is not, and they lost me for a second. I shouldn't have spoke. But anyway, what I said was, is there anything you'd like to do before heading out?
Fyrn, do we have to get up early when we're working?
Training every day.
But can I do 20 instead of 30 push-ups?
No, we're chopping logs today.
Oh.
What logs? You're in the middle of a farmland.
Here's just chopping the cabin. Like, he just knocks off a plank and he's like, "All right, let's do it."
Alrighty. Well, after they rip apart this cabin, this little shack, you can get the horses ready in the carriage, or do you want to leave them behind and go on foot?
I was gonna say, is there a road toward the
This is
hills?
off-road. This would be
So then we
off-road.
probably
It's
should leave
flat.
the
It's
carriage.
very flat until you get to the hills.
Yeah.
But it is not once you get to the hills in the
I
forests.
don't know what you think, Jaquet. Do you want to risk wrecking the carriage?
That was 1,000 silver. Or how much was it?
500,
that's-
I think.
Oh, that was 500 with the horses. No, we'll hoof it, as they say.
Okay.
Do you think we should take it as far as we can go and then just leave them out, or leave it
You
all
might get
here?
stolen.
I think it's best we just leave it here.
All right.
All right, let's go then. Yeah.
I'm just gonna give Yarrick, like 2 silver, or whatever it is, like for 2 days worth of, taking care of the horses. Just because, I don't know how long we're gonna be.
Yeah. He'll take 1 silver for 2 days,
Great.
for feed and housing and protection. And you 3 can head out on foot through the farmlands. About a half day's journey. It's before a half day that you actually would reach the base of the hills and in the forest itself. But as you're moving through the farmlands, the day is chilly like it was the last day. It is a completely clear sky. You might even feel a little exposed as you're walking through these hills. Like there's nowhere to hide. Like Jaquet, you might even particularly be like thinking about how your stealth rolls would not even benefit you much in here, and maybe occasionally looking up to the sky. But it's at some point you would also find just like what looks like a probably the corpse of a sheep that has been torn apart, with its head missing. As you think to Yarrick's urban legend or local legend. But you continue on. Eventually, you would get to the forest's edge, as the hills themselves are quite wooded. And you can begin entering into the woods where you feel maybe a little bit safer, oddly enough, despite it being the actual wilds. What is your approach? Are you just kind of wandering about, keeping your directions and waiting until you hear something or see any traces of people? Or do you have a different approach?
I mean, we were told to listen for the chimes, so that's what I'm listening for.
Okay. I guess
Fyrn takes the front.
All right, you read my mind. I was asking for a marching order. Also, if you're stealthing or not.
That's a no on Fyrn's front.
Okay. Or if there's any reason you would start stealthing, I guess is probably a better question, because while you're just wandering, you might just be walking casually, listening. All right, so
Yeah,
Sass...
I mean, like, I'm keeping an eye out for danger, but I'm not, like, expecting any, really.
Okay. Sass and Jaquet, are you just kind of trailing behind Fyrn together, or keeping a distance?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be in the back, because if they happen upon Bjorn first, I want to be seen last. But yeah, I'm not really trying to stealth, but I'm also mindful of my steps.
Okay. All right, so Jaquet and Fyrn kind of ahead of you, kind of trying to maintain your original plan of them confronting him first.
Mm.
All right, so I would like to get a perception check from folks.
Sure.
19.
19, nice.
Also a 19.
Nice.
10.
Okay. Jaquet being kind of like Fyrn in front and Sass behind, maybe you're just getting bored and not paying attention out there. But or just sort of occasionally looking about, but not really the entire time. But Sass and Fyrn with those 19s, you would it wouldn't take you long. There's a point when you realize like it's been half a day. Like you've walked for what is, 4-ish hours of what would normally be daily travel. 4 or 5-ish hours. And at first you're a little frustrated because you're not hearing anything. It's difficult to walk in the woods because this is completely wild. There's no paths, there's no trails. There's occasionally game trails that you might see that you can follow along to keep a smooth path. And occasionally you you might even get down as you hear something up in the trees, but you notice it's just an animal. But at a certain point you would then hear it. Just this very slight jingle of wind chimes.
Do you hear that?
Yep.
I hear the chimes. Do you hear it, Jaquet?
Yeah, I hear that.
Jaquet, you're distracted with your 10. You do get something. You see on the ground under a tree is just a little bit of moss growing on what looks like a humanoid skull.
Mm.
Yeah. Keep those eyes peeled.
As Jaquet kind of takes out the crossbow and make sure it's loaded.
Fyrn also draws his weapon.
I make my hands shiny with my magic.
a little pre Eldritch Blast sparkle.
Exactly. Or I have a weapon too, but no, I don't want to draw attention to myself. Just keep the sparkle.
Sparkle hands it is.
Sparkle hands.
Yeah, because Sparkle hands is much more subtle than a cutlass.
But I have to summon the cutlass with a splash of seawater.
Okay. Okay, so you have your weapons drawn or your sparkles drawn. Are you changing your approach or are you just following the sound of the chimes?
I would say Fyrn is taking it slower, and is stealthing.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's get some stealth checks. And then I'll ask for another round of perceptions as well.
Ah, Fyrn.
Plate
At
armor, baby.
disadvantage.
Fyrn, what'd you get?
7.
Sass?
18.
Jaquet?
20.
Oh.
I didn't roll with advantage because I assumed that it would be both hearing and sight.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. I was looking at everyone's next level up features. And I noticed that if Jaquet goes rogue, he'll get another expertise boost.
Mm.
Can't wait for that.
Mhm, mhm.
All right, perceptions for those who wish to proceed.
Oops, I wrote the wrong one. 9.
10.
18.
I was like, bring it home, Jaquet.
Now he's kind of like, he saw the skull and he's like, okay, time to get serious.
Yeah. Sass, your
Yes.
nerves are boiling up.
Great.
So you're having trouble focusing on your perception.
Okay.
So
Start
you
hearing
are
Saskia breathe really heavy behind you.
yeah. As Sass, you are thinking like there's so many thoughts running through your head. What if he's dangerous? What if he's not? What if he's dead? What if this is a dead end? All of the anxiety bubbling up. Fear, and it's the plate. It's just the plate, man. It's
That's all I expected.
Just
it's
the
like
plate.
it's like Fear, and you're taking it real slow, but every step it's just the clamor. Like truly, like it's almost impossible, truly, to stealth in plate armor.
Fyrn isn't like, he doesn't wince when he makes a noise. It's
Yeah.
like the sort of thing that he's just moving slowly, and he's just moving slowly, and he says like, "Oh, that's good enough." Like they're not going to hear that. It's fine.
Yeah, and it's yeah, exactly. And then like your perception check, like maybe you're focusing so hard on taking it slow, and I think maybe you just are like keeping a very forward focus and holding on to the sound of the chimes since you're at the front. So you're too distracted to really perceive other things. You're really focusing on the chimes.
Okay.
Jaquet, on the other hand, kind of initiating the paranoia after seeing the humanoid skull. At first, you're looking around, and every drop of a leaf, a stick, an acorn is sort of sending your fur up, and you're swearing you're seeing things. Every time you kind of look between the branches, you think you see the shape of something. It's not. You don't see. It's almost like a ghost. Almost like almost like the heat waves you see on a hot day, but moving in a singular shape. There is something in these woods. And you can't quite tell, though, if it's stalking you or if it's just minding its business right now. And you see it several times while you're walking. Out of the corner of your eye, maybe 50 feet away in the woods. And every time you think you see it, it's almost as if it disappears. But you follow the chimes. And the closer the chimes sound, the more tense you become. But I'll say, Jaquet, the closer you get to the chimes, the less you see that figure. Causation, correlation, who knows? But that figure seems to almost vanish, and maybe you calm down a little bit. But Sass and Fyrn, you're on edge. Every sound in the branches. Sound in the branches. Nerve-wracking.
What are you rolling?
As you start to see signs of these chimes. You actually see a set of wind chimes hanging. A set of wind chimes made from random junk. Sea glass, scraps of metal, game bones. Doesn't look like humanoid bones. Not like that skull. It looks like, rib bones of a deer or something like that. Antlers. And they're all over the place. And you also see ropes kind of connecting the trees now. Makes you think of that picture that he drew
I was just
of
gonna
the
ask, is
house.
it like that picture? Yeah. I think we're here.
Carrying your 18 over Jaquet, there's someone up in the branches, moving along these ropes. The other two, you don't notice this at all. You don't hear it. You just hear the wind chimes and sort of the light breeze through the branches. And you almost mistake the snapping of branches as just like the wind and the chimes. Jaquet, you hear the snapping of the branches, and you hear the intentional movement.
Do I see this individual at all, or is it just like a shadow of them? Like, do I get a clear?
It's a shadow of them. They are definitely. They're not. It doesn't look like they're following you though. It looks almost like you've stumbled upon them.
All right. Jaquet's gonna keep his eyes on this individual, but unless it looks like they're coming towards us, he's not gonna warn the others.
Okay. You see more and more of these ropes as you're moving through. And Jaquet, you keep your eye on the shadowy figure in the trees moving. If they were to leave sort of the leaves and foliage, you would definitely get a glimpse of them. And I would say at a certain point, you start to get frustrated because there's wind chimes all over the fucking place and ropes all over the place. It's at that point that maybe you stop for a second, and as soon as you kind of stop, Jaquet, you notice that figure stops as well, and you notice they pop their head out of the brush, and you see feathers, black feathers. You see they hook a long pole arm with a hook on it onto one of these ropes. And you see the corvid-like head just sort of like snapping its beak a little bit, very quietly, very, very quietly, and turning its head. It looks as if it's trying to see clearly who each of you are. And they linger for a long time on Sass.
When it does this, Jaquet kind of just like nudges Fyrn in the back and like puts out a hand to Sass, and then just gestures up with his head towards the figure in the trees.
And Sass, when you look up at the figure in the trees, they really pop their head out.
Is it twig snap?
It's 100% twig snap. You see the familiar sort of... I have my description.
I have mine from eons ago, too.
I don't have one.
A small Kenku. Standing, roughly 4.5 feet tall. Arms and legs that are wiry and lengthy with a small body. She's all arms and legs. Very simple clothes, sleeveless tunic, a red hood draped over her shoulders, a tight bag across her chest, almost like a fanny pack, that she wears over her chest like a bandolier, and her hooked pole as she stares you directly in the eyes. And Twigsnap expressed herself mostly through sounds, because the corvid-like face, it's hard to read emotions on. As you just see her sort of like trilling her beak. She's like tapping it. As she pulls, she has her hooked pole on the rope, and she kind of like lets herself fall, and the rope kind of slacks down so that she's just over the ground. And she touches her feet and unhooks it and gets down. She's not holding this pole aggressively.
Yeah, Fyrn's giant mace would disappear. And he would look at Twigsnap and be like, well, damn. I thought you were dead for sure.
You two know
White
this
Eye.
one?
Yeah.
White Eye.
Yeah, she was part of the Stormspire.
Oh, good. Another one whose my near death weighs on their shoulders.
She's one of the good ones. Sort of, I guess.
She very nervously comes up to Fyrn and sort of just like slaps his armor. Like someone who's trying to make sure something's not an illusion. And then she kind of pops up, pecks your armor a few times, then looks to you, Saskia.
How? Are the rest of them here? Cornelius, Bjorn, are they here too? Sparkle hands go away.
You kind of hear that trilling purr from her as she then kind of like hops closer to you. And you can see, now that she's up close, you can see that bandolier has all of the like hooks and tools and tinkering supplies she has. As you remember, she's a tinkerer. In addition to being the
rigger.
The rigger, she's also a tinkerer and a carpenter, and she's a skilled many trades, despite only
Right.
being like 18 years old. And she just kind of comes up. Sea blood.
Right. Yeah.
She shakes her head, and the feathers sort of frill out. No, Cornelius. Dead.
Figured. Bjorn?
Shakes her head and then looks up the towards the northwest.
We're here to see him.
She sort of pokes you with the rounded hook, also trying to make sure you're real.
Not a ghost. Are you? Poke her back.
Ghost. I don't know.
What happened after the spire? I thought you were fucking dead.
Dead. Shakes her fur again and looks over at Jaquet. Who you?
A friend. To
I
some
hate
friends.
Kenku.
Oh.
Where's Bjorn?
Kenku.
You can't get a fucking straight answer out of them. They just mimic everything they hear. Someone who can actually speak is up there. Yes, thank you.
And he just kind of shoulders past the others to march up towards.
Fyrn's
you.
gonna
Friend.
grab.
Bad.
Yeah, more of an acquaintance, actually.
Fyrn just grabs you on the shoulder, Jaquet, and says, "Loveless, I think we agreed to let Saskia take the lead here."
I'm not gonna sit around and talk to a Kenku. Saskia can take the lead when we get to someone who can actually give us some fucking information.
She can.
Sort of makes this coughing laugh sound. And she
Don't mind.
pulls the hook up and lifts herself up so that she's like sort of hanging by a rope over to Jaquet. Lead the way. This way. As she pulls herself and kind of leaps with the hook and lands about 10 feet ahead of you and starts to walk.
Sean, while she was like showing off, was the device that she had the day the spire broke in her bandolier?
It was.
Hmm.
Looked a little broken, but it's there.
Yeah, Fyrn just maybe when he catches a spot of it when she's turning around to lead the way, and he winces, and you could tell that something like went over him, and like he's gritting his teeth, and he doesn't look happy.
As she's leading the way, you can hear her saying several things. She says in Lasha's voice, "The sea is a terrible thing. Sea is a terrible thing." In mimicking your voice, Sass, dead. Dead. Shakes her head. Pulls herself up into the tree. She's still visible to you all, but she's using her ropes and whatnot to climb. You always knew Twigsnap to be someone who could never sit still. Constantly hyperactive. To the point of forgetfulness if she found something that she liked. But one of the kindest crew members. Obsessed with the wind chimes. It was her who put all the wind chimes in the Bone Rattler. Because the riggings were hers. The crow's nest was hers.
I might even, if I remember correctly, I took a bell off of her
Mhm.
at one point. I might still have that in my inventory.
Because she doesn't have
somewhere.
any bells on her now, but she used to cover herself in bells so that she would make noises like the wind chimes when she would swoop in between the rigging and up into the crow's nest.
Mhm.
I think it might have gotten lost somewhere along the way.
She still like jingles because she has like a ton of like pittons and hooks and
Stuff,
hammers
yeah.
and stuff hanging off of the bandolier. She has a very special bag there that you remember that she had that was magical. It was a bag of endless rope.
She liked to tie knots.
Hence why there's so much goddamn rope here and nowhere to buy rope. But she starts to lead you towards an open glade in the forest. You have to hike a little bit up. It's not quite at the flat ground. I mean, all of the forest you were marching through had kind of like a slope to it as it led up higher in the hills. But now you're in like the rocky part of the hills, where there's this little enclave where you can see the first floor of a house in the process of being built. Basically, you just see foundation with wood beams put up, and some walls. Certainly not a complete house. You can see it's a little wet still from the storm a few days ago.
Would not pass Koboko regulation.
It would not. Bjorn does not have a
Yes.
license
Yeah.
to build here.
Mhm.
But you see the back of Bjorn. He's standing on one of these tall rock outcroppings. And he has like an easel with a canvas on it. And he's just painting.
What's he
His
painting?
tail is sort of just flopping.
Waving.
Waving back and forth. He looks, and you tell me how Sass responds to this, but he looks so at peace as he's just painting the landscape on the other side of the rock cropping.
Saskia feels her initial reaction is jealousy, extreme jealousy. And then she's angry. But then there's also a sense of good for him. But all of it crashes at once, and kind of it makes her stand up a little straighter, maybe straighten her hat, and holding her tiny ship in her hand, but holding it so that nobody else can see it. She's just kind of palming it. I'll walk up behind him, but not like totally behind him, just like 5 or 6 feet back. What you painting? I never knew you were an artist.
He stops painting, so you can see sort of his quick brush strokes stopping. You can see it's very like, it's almost like truthfully, it's got like Van Gogh properties in the way that it's like heavy strokes with the oil paints. He doesn't have a lot of colors though, so like the it's almost monochromatic in that way, or only a certain wavelength of colors. The trees, which are showing autumn colors, are hues of blue because he mostly has blues and greens. He doesn't have the oranges, the umbers to use. But he turns rather quickly his head as he kind of drops the paintbrush. And it clatters. And you look and you can see how old he is. He's aged. The scales are not quite as vibrantly blue as they looked at sea. You always knew him as the old dragon, but like now it's like the old dragon. You can even see like his horns look almost like gnarled, like they've grown too much. Even his claws and his fingers look like they've grown too much, like he hasn't been putting them to work to nail them down or taking care of them. He's bone, he's very thin. He still looks strong, like he still has the strength he used to have, but it has lessened. As he almost looks like there's a sag to him, despite him standing tall. And his eyes are very calm, though, as he looks at you. As his mouth is a little agape as he looks. Saskia.
Yeah. I survived. Well, thanks to you.
No thanks to me.
No. You left us, Bjorn. You dropped us off on that fucking rock and you left us.
Left you? No. That's not true.
Yeah, it's true.
His
You
face
dropped us off.
scrunches in confusion. That's not true.
And what's your version then? What do you remember? What's your truth?
What's your version?
I
What
asked
do you
first.
remember?
He doesn't remember, does he? Do I get the sense that his memory's gone?
You mean
He's
insight
old.
check?
18.
He certainly seems like he's struggling with his memories. You knew he was in his late 50s when you knew him.
Mm-hmm.
Jaquet comes up behind Sass and kind of like over her shoulder goes like, "Don't let him throw you through a loop. Get what you came for. Get those answers."
And throughout this beginning, normally, like, Sass would really, like, go in on herself and make herself small, but she's standing tall and her head's held high, and she nods to Jaquet. I need you to remember, Bjorn. What I remember, you wrote us, and I gesture to Fyrn, and Twigsnap came with us, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. To the two of them. And Cornelius, you rowed us out to that rock where the spire was. Dropped us off. Let us do what we were meant to do. But when the job was done, you were gone.
Gone.
Nowhere to be found.
You see Twigsnap kind of crawls up close next to him, like past you. And she's fumbling on her bandolier. And you can see she's tinkering with some things. As she very quickly mashes together some things and puts them together into a poultice. Sort of a grainy mush. And just like kind of holds it up to Bjorn and says in Lasha's voice, "Medicine." As Bjorn looks in, "Oh, midday already." And sort of like takes his fingers in it and sort of pulls it out and starts to eat it as he looks to you. And Saskia,
I did not leave. The job went wrong.
I'll say. And where did you go, Fyrn? Why weren't you there when the job went to shit?
The sea. And you hear Twig snap in Lasha's voice again. The sea is a terrible thing. The sea is a terrible thing.
I'll take out the picture with the eyes and the eyes, the green eyes on it. This? What is this?
He shakes his head. His long, kind of draconic face just sort of whipping the tendrils around. Yeah, Twig Snap looks to you and in Lasha's voice again. It's like, sick, sick, sick. The sea is a terrible thing.
It's not. It's not.
And he stops shaking his head and he looks up. He's kind of squinting his eyes, clearing his head. You might think maybe that medicine is taking root.
Hmm.
He exhales for a long time and looks at the drawing again that you're holding. And he starts to come closer to you. And his form reminds you of, like, he is a big guy. He was a strong sailor. And he's still strong despite deteriorating quite a bit as he gets closer to the drawing. And he sort of pokes it with his claw. It's sort of like, his hands almost look like arthritic in the way that they're kind of like closed in almost a claw. This is pointing claw taps at the picture, drags along it. It's the sea. That's the sea. Last.
Did you see something? No, Bjorn, come on. I need you to talk to us. I need the answers. I need to know what happened.
Give me a persuasion roll.
19.
You see, he starts to walk away from you back towards the canvas, but Twig Snap, as you say these last few lines, Twig Snap kind of like crawls over to his side and just like puts her arm on his arm and just sort of looks up at him, like with just a corvid face, but with these, like, the eyes almost are expressive. There's like a brightness, a warmness there. As she would just sort of whisper, but not so quiet you can't hear it, in the voice of Cornelius. Friend. As, even though he's bent over and picked the paintbrush up and he starts to paint a little bit more again, almost like it's helping him focus. The waters were harsh. We were far from the ship. I had to pull away from the rocks. And Twig Snap fired the elemental too early. You triggered the sentries. I couldn't get close. And then it happened. Explosion. Darkness. Eyes. Crushing weight. I didn't want to leave you. And then he kind of like, his hand's shaking. The paintbrush is kind of like And he does look back, and with that kind of 19 persuasion, as you're looking to him, pleading, "He wanted me to."
What was that?
Captain, he wanted me to.
He wanted me to. Got it.
He wanted me to. A sacrifice. He knew the ship couldn't get close after the airship fell.
So he sent us to die. If he wasn't already dead, I'd kill him for that.
Dead?
Dead.
Not everything that's dead stays dead.
What do you mean?
I'm tired.
Wait, Bjorn. We're not here by chance. And I'll look around for the other two.
Jaquet's right behind you still.
Muted.
Fion's
Yeah.
behind you too. He's just not looking happy.
Yeah. There's a bounty for you, Bjorn. The Commodore wants to bring you in. She suspects you.
You see, he looks down and takes a deep breath and exhales, and then looks up past the painting towards the landscape he's been painting. The sun kind of dazzles across the red cliffs between the trees. He looks down to Twigsnap. Starts painting again. Do as you must.
I'm sorry, do you not care? I mean, I get that, clearly something is off with you. Anyone with half a brain could tell. But, we're gonna bring you in, Bjorn. You're a wanted man, part of the Bone Rattler crew. Maybe if you can give us something, anything, we might be able to let you stay here. It seems pretty peaceful. You have a good friend here that's helping your recovery. Don't you care?
He would keep painting, and maybe you'd see his eye kind of look over behind him.
What can an old man like me offer?
Information.
Anything. Do you know who sent the Bone Rattler to take out the spire? Because I think that's the crux of it.
And he does kind of look up, almost as if he might be realizing a little bit deep down that he's more to offer than he thinks.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll put the paintbrush down and sit down on a stool that he has to the side and look at you all.
For weeks after I woke up, I drank myself into oblivion. I have come to peace with my guilt. Hastings told me some, but not all, of his plans. There are a lot of hands in this pot. Some deeper than others. All I know is the Aradunai were involved, as well as Mr. Greaves' syndicate. They all had something to gain from their own perspectives. Hastings advanced the wants of the Alumno Defiance, taking out a storm spire, cutting off trade, a hit for Halcyon. You were just the lowest on the rung. Saskia. Fyrn was nobody.
So
You're a
you're
Dunag.
expendable.
Hastings was a hardened man. Old like me. I lived my life on ships. He lived his life in the army. A humiliated army. The Ardunai freed some elementals. Struck a blow to Halcyon's enslavement of elemental life. I assume Mr. Greaves has an interest in controlling the trade lines. Or whatever. This is the one that I don't fully know or understand. But you don't smuggle materials to build what the Big Snap built without connections to the dark markets. I don't remember much else. And even this will fade soon. But I woke up on those beaches. And I just knew I needed to drink.
I know the feeling.
It wasn't for her. I looked down at Twigsnap. You'd have found me in that shack that I presume you found.
And all of
Half
your
dead.
drawings.
They helped me remember.
Do you hear a voice in your head? Someone talk to you, especially when you were in the water. You didn't catch that.
Near the water again.
You'll never go near the water again.
I don't go near the ocean.
Why? Did you see something?
I saw a ship of bone and fire. And what awaited me for my sins. Until the darkness in those green eyes. And I awoke on the shores of Hyven. And you hear Twig snap. Oh, the sea is a terrible place. Dead. Twig snap. She woke up there too. Gods know if that bastard Cornelius is alive too out there. Washed up on some other shore.
Well, I see this going one of two ways. And I'll let you choose, Bjorn. We leave with this information that you gave us. We bring it back to the Commodore. Or you can come with us and tell her yourself. But I'm not sure it would be quite as peaceful as this. As you're painting, as you're building what looks like a new life out here.
I'm sorry, hold on. Why does he get to decide his fate?
Because people deserve a choice, Jaquet.
He had a choice. Not to work for Hastings. Not to be part of that terrible plot that saw me shot out of the sky. Yeah, that's right, by the way. I was on that airship. And then he looks at Twigsnap too. You're the one that shot that fire elemental in the sky, huh? Do you know how many people died because of what you did? Do you know the pain that you caused so many people? Me? I have to deal with these two now, Jaquet says, motioning to Fyrn and Saskia. As far as I'm concerned, you two should be locked up in a cell. Probably more
Bjorn.
silver in our pocket.
Bjorn looks at Twig Snap and then back to you, Saskia, and then to Jaquet.
He's right. Are you gonna put... I will face my fate. We had a chance.
He looks down at Twig Snap.
You stay here. Or will you take her too?
Our contract was just for you.
Fair enough.
But
Go.
it'll depend. And Fyrn's gonna hold his hand out to Twig Snap. Give it over.
She looks to Bjorn and back to you, Fyrn, and Bjorn gives her a little nod. And she pulls the one shot still out of her bandolier that looks like it's been like the end looks like it's been blown open. And there's singe marks, permanent singe marks all over it, with a little loading mechanism on the back where one would put a gem. She hands it up, and he looks at her and he goes,
You don't need it anymore.
he leans forward to her.
Build your park. Can I finish my painting before?
How long is that going to take?
I don't think you want to be caught out there at night.
What time is it?
It's not late. It's around like 1 o'clock, but like it'll be nighttime before you completely get back, but you'll be out of the woods before it's really dark.
I think we can manage.
That's fair. Well, zombie comes for us all.
And he looks at Saskia.
The what comes first, all?
Zombie.
I know that name.
Give me a history check. The other two definitely don't.
16.
Yeah. It is the a superstitious spirit that sailors believe takes their souls to hell in his bone ship.
Mhm. I wish it didn't have to be like this. I wish we'd all made different choices.
The
too.
tabaxi is right. I made my choices. I had my chance. And when it mattered, I didn't choose right. Well, you, Saskia, have a better chance at a second chance.
We'll see. If I don't fuck it up.
What? You're doing fine, Saskia. You're part of a great adventuring crew. We're doing great. Don't let this sad sack's negative energy wear you down. Okay? Do you have anything? Something about the vibe here. We need to get going.
You
I
nervous?
kind of just.
Nervous? No, it's just
Anxious.
you're sad. You're just so fucking sad, and it's just wearing thin on me. Okay?
It's a
Don't
real
make
emotion,
yourself out.
Jaquet.
He's making himself to be like the victim here. Okay? He's not.
I've
You
seen
are.
men like this.
Okay, you know what? Can you just get your stuff and let's get on the road?
You're running from something.
And he walks away.
Mhm.
Right?
Hey.
No, I
Oh,
want to get
hey.
back to the inn before nightfall.
Jaquet.
Hmm?
You've felt that way before, haven't you? The way he's feeling. That's why you're deflecting it so hard.
Okay, I'm sorry. When did this become a psychoanalysis of me? Okay?
It's
This
not.
guy's-
I'm just observing. I see it. I see it more clearly than I've seen anything before. You feel exactly like he does.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just want to get back to the safety of the inn before nightfall. You saw those skulls. You know the dangers out here. There's no
Okay.
need to run risk for some fucking painting.
No. It's okay to be sad
I'm
and
not.
have regrets. Come on.
I've got a lot of regrets, and they start with meeting you too.
He
He says as he heads off to prepare to leave.
Yeah. Bjorn grabs a bag. He doesn't put much in it. And says a few goodbyes to Twig Snap, who is very sad.
Can I possibly pull Twig Snap aside while he was packing things up?
Sure.
I get down. I kneel a little to her level, and I look her in the eyes and say, "I can't say I've forgiven you for what you've done, but from what I've seen, you're just as much a victim as I am."
Oh, you just hear from the background.
Twig Snap,
If you
for a moment. Actually, you go ahead and finish.
if you come with us, we can convince the Commodore that you had nothing to do with this. Just like Saskia, she is worth trusting, and she knows, and yet Saskia still works for us. We could make a similar arrangement for you, but you've got to help us.
Twigsnap pulls away from you, and for as much as you can see anger on a Corvid face, you see as she mimics back to you voices from a long time ago, months ago. Bjorn. The mission's to take down the airship and destroy the spire, she says in your voice. Understood.
It's not how it happened.
She pulls away from you. Commodore. Knows Saskia involved.
I nod.
I told her myself. Couldn't face the guilt.
She repeats what Bjorn said, and then replies with the affirmative from you, Saskia. Before you all left on the rowboat. And she dashes away and pulls herself up with her hook into the trees.
She makes the most sense out of all you lot. Sounds like she knew what she was getting into.
We should go.
Here, here.
You hear kind of like a last thing from her as you hear in Bjorn's voice. We'll all be filthy rich. Sea is a terrible place. And she darts away in the trees.
Yeah, I'll just lean to Saskia. You sure you're doing the right thing here?
I don't know, Fyrn. Just following orders.
That's not what you're doing here. You're choosing to let Twigsnap leave to bring the old dragon back.
That was the job.
Doesn't have to be. You can do this job more or less. We'll stand by you. It's up to you what their fate is now.
Coming between the two, Jaquet goes,
What's there to discuss? Bjorn's our target. He has no good information to offer, so we might as well bring him in to get that extra silver. The Kenku, not our problem.
I don't know what the right thing to do is.
Right, wrong, who cares?
I do.
The contract we have with the Commodore is to bring Bjorn back.
Yeah. Let's just go. I'll
Very
turn
well.
around and start walking.
Bjorn's waiting for you at the edge of the glade. And begin marching back through the hills and the woods. Maybe moving a little faster, even though there's no chance you're going to get stuck in these hills at night. Just the moving sun makes you maybe a little nervous as you
Mhm.
maybe catch a glimpse of that humanoid skull again on the way back.
Mm-hmm.
And Jaquet, maybe you start to see out of the corner of your eyes that invisible stalker. It's actually a good way to think of it. It kind of looks like the stalkers in Helldiver when they're
Oh,
invisible.
great. Oh, fantastic.
That vague shape that distorts the light. But night
Predator
does
mode.
not fall while you're here, so nothing bad happens to you. You get to the fields of the farm. The sun is beginning to set. Perhaps you feel a little unsafe as you remember passing that disemboweled sheep with no head. But once you kind of get past that and you're like out of that particular farm, you start to feel more confident about at least the danger level. The entire time Bjorn is quiet, and just sort of looking to the sky and the sunset and the fields. Very at peace. He is not telling you any sad stories. He's not begging. He has completely accepted his fate. He had probably already accepted his fate before you even arrived. This is not a man making himself into a victim. This is a man who has given himself up to fate. And you get back to the tavern. You can stay the night there one more night before heading back to Septimus's farm.
Sounds good.
And I think that's a good place to end tonight.
Yeah.
All right, folks, out there on the YouTubes, once we upload this, hope you enjoyed it. Next week we will hopefully not have any internet issues, and we'll be back streaming. So join us then. Even though you'll probably be watching this after that, maybe, or at some point in the future. So watch episode 55 after this. But thanks for joining us. We will see you when we see you. Thanks for coming to Paradise.
Happy
Goodbye.
Eclipse Day.